What's up? What's up? It's too long. Oh man, just had a stinking. People never really figured out what the Holy Trinity mean, including myself. But I know it's a word. I have no idea what the hell it means. But today, I'm addressing some parts of the undead, and I think the only blessing that they may have is that they're able to still be, and I think the only thing about that is you can't attempt to break whatever laws around are here. It's being different, and I think it's kind of interesting, but I don't know. When you feel like some type of reporter or a journalist in a spiritual realm, or a place of, having the pleasure to address a different and higher power, I think you have to understand. I think it's your duty to speak up on some stuff if you can. Find out what's okay, maybe not okay. Let me see. I can't function if I'm not having a little bit of coffee in it. But I have another story about Jesus Christ. I actually have a book about 25 to 35 chapters in it, talking about the parallels to different religions. Meaning that sometimes history repeats itself in the form of a fable or myth, and it's okay to understand you reading a book just to understand the myth and the lesson, the lessons that come from just reading any book. You should learn something. But long story short, currently, in this day and age, currently in this day and age, I'm learning about the modern day Jesus Christ, the supposed alleged coming of the modern day Jesus Christ. If you feel like laughing right now, you can. It's completely up to you. You're either gonna laugh about it or be disappointed that it was a true attempt to do so. Well, here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it. Before I get into it, we should always wake up. It's a nice morning. Feel good. Make sure you wake up and say good morning. Pray to the God you love, and don't forget to continually thank the angels who've been protecting you and speaking to you. By now, I think they have been at least trying to address most of us. And, we gotta love them and appreciate it. So I'm going to talk about the modern day Jesus Christ. I'll just say by the attempt by an unknown faction who wanted to try to do so. But anyway, so what? So, the modern day Jesus Christ, with whatever mindset he has, I'll tell you what he's living under. I like to compare villains because if you, I'm not gonna tell you why, but yeah, I'll tell you why. You gotta know something a little bit about your opponent. There's nothing wrong with knowing a little bit about your opponent, which is why you should always try to do that. One of my favorites is Thanos, and I'm gonna tell you why. See, some of these people, I just watched Avengers for the first time. He's a Titan. This man, Thanos, the time they made the movie probably was over 1,000 years old. And I mean that literally. So anyway, he's over 1,000 years old. Then this Jesus Christ guy, who they're trying to reinvent, died at the age of 33. Technically still a kid. The cherry on top, I just learned that Thor said he was 1,500 years old in that movie, by the way. Thor was 1,500 years old. So yeah, Thanos was pretty much over 1,000 years old. And Jesus Christ died at 33. So you're a little boy. Now the problem is modern day Jesus Christ, who they tried to reinvent, had to come back and coincidentally be a grown ass man nowadays. So currently, that's what it's like to witness somebody try to make a grown ass man. How do you make a grown ass man, right? By using grown adults to incorporate this evil entity's doing or trying to do such a thing. You know. But come to find out, it wasn't nothing, because in the book of Revelations, it announced his return. Believe it or not, it announced his return. And people have been trying to what's the word I want to use? People have been trying to what's the word I want to use? Not allow it to happen the way it supposedly happened in the book, the way John saw it in the book. You know, so him trying to come back is the saddest thing you can witness, because he's trying to come back as a youthful 30-year-old dude. And I go to church sometimes and I gotta listen to people read these books from over 2,000 years ago, thinking that the Christ that will return has somewhat of any bit of the knowledge that he had back then. No, this is just some random people using technology to imitate and be fraudulent in creating this Christly figure. And the sad part is, here in America, they're going way out their way to do so. And I guess you got to remember, he was born in Bethlehem. So if he was going to be reborn, why isn't he being reborn in Bethlehem? And the sad part about them trying to do this to create this man now, you know, so, you know, trying to come back at 33. Oh, so I'll be in church And again, being able to hear and just tune into the spiritual realm once in a while, you find out he ain't doing nothing. If he was really around, people in church trying to say his name and be praising and all of that, he trying to lay up with somebody and just get his rocks off. That's all he's trying to do. And I said to say he seemed like he don't even give a damn. And then the another religion mentions him at least once or twice, saying if he did come back, which we doubt because he wasn't real, but if he was just a prophet, and if he was a prophet, he was just a preacher. And then you Google him nowadays, say he's from Rome. A long time ago, I used to Google him, and they would say it's just nothing they could find on him. So then you gotta Google people like Nostradamus / Christ and see how legitimate one of the two of those people are. What true artifactual findings they have. And I'm just saying they very blunt and blatant. Very blunt and blatant. They didn't find anything to prove him to be true or real. So believe it or not, they trying to see if he really turned water into wine. They watched this guy say he wanted to become the president of the United States of America. But for the last few months, they've been trying to glorify predictions. And I believe trying to glorify predictions is a sin in itself. If you wanted, I don't know. I guess they must have did everything else already. But glorifying and taking pride in making predictions or living in predictions is a terrible sin to do. And I have evil spirits around once in a while who think they do it out of a phony necessity to do so. It's not even real. You don't have to do that. So you don't have to do it, but they tend to want to do so. And I guess I want to say it now, because I hope me coming of age as a grown up was introduced to some of the most ignorant people. When I say ignorant, the lack of know-how that I have ever seen. And so people be at church, saying his name and vouching for the words in the old book. And he's pretty much like, I wish they stopped talking about me like that. He has no interest in being a part of that. So whatever spiritual nature they're trying to imitate, that was the word I was looking for, by the way. Whatever spiritual nature they're trying to imitate for him. No. Whatever this faction or these factions have been trying to give him, and the way they've been trying to do so, I urge people to be, laugh about it or be very disappointed that they've really been trying to do that. He don't give a damn. And at this point, they just been more interested in the ability to create an unnatural being. Because again, I was saying this book mentions him 2,000 years ago, but he a little kid, 30 years old. Not a kid, but he had a lot of living to do. I found an article said the Lord's Most Wanted. It was a Spanish guy. I forget the year. It might have been like 1478 or something like that over there. And it could have been Spain for all I know. But they were hunting this man down who pretended to be Jesus Christ. 1400 years, and the year 1400 something. And you better believe, people have been back at it. You better believe they've been back at it again, trying to do it again. So again, our modern times, they've been willing to do something like this. And the most heartbreaking thing is that they use people who look like me more than anything, mainly because I think, we may be more disposable. Not for any other reason. I don't think it's a better or worse thing. We just might be the most disposable people. Hold on. So, and when I say disposable, what does that mean? Literally, damn near inside and out. Again, I referenced about 3 different cases of murder that happened over the past 4 years or so. He took the young guy's insides out. What do you think they did with his insides? What do you think they did with that? I don't know, but I'm asking, what do you think they did? Organs are worth a lot of money. They do transplants. Now I think about it, if you're an organ donor, there's nothing wrong with that. But now I think about it, the young boy was in high school, so he ain't have a license, so he wasn't able to make that choice. So they took the efforts out of him. Guess what? That job didn't stop. That job market is still very much alive in what they do. So again, some people have information. All right. Some people have knowledge. Some people are very articulate. Some people are just flat out just beautiful. Some people do different things, and they'll make those people victims, and apparently take these traits from people, and try to instill it in some fake entity. So I guess the more you look at it, the more you got to tell yourself to do your homework on all religion and everything they say. And you know why? Because I watch grown men and women scream to the top of their lungs, vouching for a lot of this stuff. These are some of them very smart, wise people. Some of them are very smart, wise people. And I watch them pour themselves into it. Well, they expect this man, whoever's going to return, to have also performed some of these miracles that he supposedly has done. So keeping in mind, his name is popular for a few of these reasons. And that's why they sought him out, because in the story, he gained popularity from performing these miracles. Raised the dead and all of that. He raised the dead. The girl was laying down on the bed. He just asked her to get up, and she got up. Or was it a man? Leprosy, I think it was. I forget whatever that person had. But word got around that he did these things, and the government, not the government, but the rulers didn't like it at the time. And they decided to kill him, capture him, see what capture him and see what's going on. And they killed him. And his last quote was, "Why hast thou forsaken me?" Something like that, And they had him on the cross next to two thieves. Next to 2 thieves. So back in the day, living some of the laws through God through Moses, they still put people away for these 10 commandments. And these two men who was on the cross next to Jesus Christ were just thieves. And they were getting crucified for stealing. So harsh as the rules were back then, harsh as the laws were back then, you either was going to get crucified or they chopped your damn hands off. You know, that's how it was. So what am I saying? In this day and age, wouldn't you like to know that this entity that they made was so thirsty that he was willing to do anything, almost the level of a drug addict? And when I say drug addict, you got to remember something. Drug addicts normally are in a state of, I don't want to say zombified, but it was a long time they did what they had to do to get what they wanted. They did whatever they had to do for whatever they wanted, you know. And you can watch them. Some of them dudes probably weigh about 120 pounds, and they carrying a 50-inch TV on their shoulder, and they know where to take it for whatever they want. And that fix that they're going to do that for only going to get them through maybe 4 hours of their day. Feel what I'm saying? 4 hours of their day. And guess what? They so zonked out, they'll do it again. You know? Matter of fact, some of these drug addicts could be millionaires if they just did that shit and held on to it. The stuff they've been taking from people. Uncle told me some stories. He just takes stuff out of his house. You know? So anyway, what am I saying about this Christ guy that they were trying to create? Made him such a promise in the day and age that he was living in back in the 1400s. They asked him to run around and say that, run around and show us that's who you are. Run around and say that, you know. And what happened? These two thieves he was next to on the cross, you know, were pretty much crucified right next to him. So in this day and age, these people who are trying to imitate him have to be accused of breaking some of these 10 commandments. Not breaking some, most of them. And the word always goes from a great bishop I heard say, for we all fall short of the glory and honor, you know, of the person who gave us these 10 commandments. We all fall short. We all fall short. Problem is, when they say thou shalt not steal, I was just thinking today, well, when someone falls short, what am I trying to say? A drug addict can fall short because there's also a quote in there, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Even Miss Lauryn Hill says that, for they know not what they do. But these mother effers know what they're doing. They're not falling short at all. They are very matter of fact and trying to accomplish this goal. And they just living right through thou shalt not steal. And after you finish reading the 10 commandments in the book of Exodus, he gives the consequences for breaking these laws. And again, like I said, these addicts, they can go to prison in our prison system, and guess what else they can do? They go to rehab, you know, get themselves together, get a brand new button-up shirt or something like that. I don't know, pair of jeans, and they might be okay. But these people who also became part of thou shalt not steal, living their lives in a form of being a glutton, just like these people who are trying to, you know, prophesy the future and living in that realm. Well, I think that's stealing. You're stealing people's joy. People get joy enjoying their, you know, their own chaos theory in their daily lives. So what is your chaos theory? You go to the market, you might run into somebody, oh, hey, what's up? So by trying to glorify doing that is a sin in my eyes. Because are you informing people who they're going to run into? So when they see him, they're like, hey, no. It creates a wedge in the natural gears of life, you know? And that's my personal opinion on it. But again, these people who are trying to imitate and create this 33-year-old man needs 33-year-old people around him to even try to accomplish this. So that's what's been going on. And when you like to know, unfortunately, people who've been trying to do it of our certain race, culture, but I feel as though if they were willing to wake up and do some true historical research here in America or any other country you live in, they belonged to doing their research about Europe, Alexander the Great, and the gang. So my mind is like all over the place about why they trying to glorify this dude. I mean, if you want to get deep into it, because anybody can enjoy, the idea of Christianity, but again, they draw too many parallels to just explain that these stories are nothing more than just stories that have been translated from multiple different languages. And multiple languages and all that other stuff. So I'm trying to leave this alone and inform people that I'm urging people, just don't pour yourself into it. You read with open heart, open mind, and try to enjoy it. But I couldn't bear watching another preacher or pastor, vouch for this Christ guy who's trying to return as a 33-year-old gigolo. And that's pretty much all he's trying to do. So, trying to think about if I missed anything. I don't think I missed anything, but I don't know. Did I miss something? Oh, yeah, Europe. So it's like, I can't understand why they fixated on that when they sitting here with the ability to enjoy ancient Greece, the mythologies of ancient Greece, Samaria, wherever. I think we got Samaria. Parts of Africa, all of that other stuff. But I can't understand why they so fixated on this guy. And all I learned is if they want to fixate on this guy and this book that became popular, you're possibly dealing with Krishna. Because again, I told you about translations. Krishna is spelled K-R-I-S-H-A. They spell Chris, C-H-R-I-S. K-R-I-S-C-H-R-I-S. And when I tell you that, and also say Krishna story was the exact same as this Christ story, is what I'm trying to explain. And then you can do your own research and figure out how many years apart were the story of Krishna. You can do that. Enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? Look some of this stuff up. Just if you're bored one day, just tired of watching reruns, check it out. Check it out. But that's the root of this Christ, the name of Christ. It's Krishna. Jesus, Jesus. You can get, if you don't know where that name originated from, you should find out. You can look it up. You can look it up. And that contradictory will slap you in the face like a sweet potato pie. Actually, if I made a pie, I would love to have a slice. But the contrast of Jesus and Christ, those two names are pretty much a contradiction in itself when you put it together. So, I guess that's about all the nuggets I have for the morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. I don't know, I've been working on a theory about the Trinity also. And before I forget it, I guess I'll mention it. I think I'll title it Unnatural Living. But on that note, I hope everybody have a good morning. I just happened to wake up watching Hancock, so I'm going to finish that one. Only my second time with this one, so good morning. Had some Cheerios.